I'm glad you made it, though.
So, Nibbles, J-Dog back for another goddamn fucking interview. And today we got fucking Paul from Deteriorot. So I came out here because these old school shit, man. He said to be a goddamn package with the Deteriorot CD. I'm assuming it's just like a demo release, right? Because there's like demos on there.
No, it's the 30th anniversary edition of our '93 EP, Manifested Apparitions of Unholy Spirits. So I figured, I was like, you know what? It's been 30 years. I should do something freaking nice for it. We had an artist that made like a new version of that cover art for our European tour. So he was totally okay with, hey, can we use that art? Like, I could use like different versions of the art. So we have like the original version, then we have like a revamped of the original version around like 2019 or so. I was like, and this is like a brand new cover art, but it's inspired by that art. So I was like, it'd be cool to have like 3 versions in the CD itself. I was like, and include some demo versions of some of the songs from the new album.
Okay.
Just like different drum takes, even different guitar tones, just like messing around with the album song so much until it's like, well, you know what, this isn't right. Let's change this and this and that. And figured, I was like, you know what, for like the extreme collector, people like love just an alternate. I was like, you know what, I was like, let's have some fans have an alternate version of that. And there's like different remixes and remasters. So there's the original OG version, original mix from '93. Then it was completely stripped down in Pro Tools in around 2009. So it was completely a brand new mix. And that's the version that most people hear. That's the version that's like all on YouTube. So most people haven't really listened to the original mix, except that they have the vinyl version.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what, this would be a great opportunity to have that original like on CD. And
So it was original on 7-inch.
So it was original on 7-inch.
What label put out the 7-inch?
Drown Productions.
Oh,
Dave
Drown,
Ron,
okay.
Yeah,
okay.
So it has the '93 version, the 2009 remix, and then the new 2023 remaster of that. So
Well, it makes sense because then your later albums are on Extreme Music then, right?
yeah,
And that's Dave Rotten as well.
that's Dave Rotten.
Yeah. Have you ever met Dave Rotten?
Yeah.
Because actually he's Evolved, his band, is playing Maryland Death Fest, which will be on. I'm hoping to get an interview with him.
Yeah.
I didn't actually ask him yet. I was going to email him.
I'll get you that interview.
Yeah, please do it. Keep in contact because no, I didn't ask him because I've talked to Dave through emails.
Yeah.
Before past, but it's usually Chase, my brother, that sets up all the trades and deals with them. But a few years ago, I asked him about a demo. I think it was Spontaneous Combustion from Spain.
Okay.
Which he actually put that disc out recently.
Okay.
I asked him something about that, and he never replied. And so I kind of just like, oh, well, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
So I need to hit him up, and I'm looking forward to seeing Evolves because I like him, and I'd love to interview the guy.
Yeah.
He's one of the guys that old school that I could be wrong because I never met him. I get the vibe he's still one of those older guys that's still passionate about death metal.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of guys aren't. They're older. They're kind of like, I listen to Possessed and whatever they grew up on.
No,
you know what I mean? I get the vibe he's actually still legitimately into it and collects it.
He owns his personal collection is about at this point 16,000 CDs.
So yeah, he still collects.
Yes.
Yes.
And
that's the vibe I got.
Absolutely. And if there's different versions, like he wants all different versions and stuff like that. So he's
do you know what his favorite band is? Do you have any idea? I'll be granted, I'll ask him.
He just really likes a lot of that New York, New Jersey, that dense. He refers it as the dense. Okay. Like there's only he's like that dense heavy. He's just he's all over the place. Really, he's very open-minded with music in general, and he's at like every show, every festival. With his girlfriend and friends.
Where did you meet him then?
First time I met him personally.
Yeah.
He stayed at my house.
For what was that? What would that been for? Like,
I got him a gig, but
I was assuming it was Vols or Christ Died. Or...
This was with the Vols, but this was after we've already had like a not just a business relationship, but we've had like a pen pal type of relationship at this point for like 10 years. So he got the '92 demo from Demigod.
Okay.
Back in '92, and so he was like, "Hey,
what year was this that you met him? He stayed at your house then?
He stayed at my house in the year 2000.
Okay.
And so I set him up with NJ Metal Meltdown, Jack Caution, and he brought him over, paid for the whole band to come and be at Metal Meltdown in Asbury Park.
Okay.
So yeah, I hosted him but he was already like a member of the family. We talked on the phone. It wasn't just even letters like the old-fashioned way. Like you'd get a calling card back in the 90s, and you could call overseas for like $5, and we would just talk metal for freaking 30 minutes to an hour all the time. So yeah, he stayed at my house and took him to New York City and so forth. And
you ever been to Spain?
I haven't been to Spain, but I headlined NRW Death Fest in Germany in 2015, and Avults was with us too. So,
okay, cool.
So we headlined on a Friday, Avults headlined on a Saturday, and then we did the same thing in Italy as well. We hung out last year. We did a European tour, and we were the headline at Killtown Death Fest on the Thursday night of their 3-day. And yeah, Dave flew to Copenhagen and supported us. And we just hung out the whole weekend. And I'll get you that interview because we're going to hang out at Maryland Death Fest.
Oh, you'll be there too?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Definitely bring him over, yeah. Because I already got a few lined up at Maryland, all the interviews. Yeah. But him, like I said, I could email him. I just didn't yet. But
he gets so much messages and he's got so many things going on. You know, because it's not just the label. He's also with the Bulls. You know, he also has. You know, he's also deep in a great relationship that he's been in for about a year or so.
Does he live off Extreme Music?
Yeah.
Yeah, I assumed he did.
Yeah. So sometimes, you know, I might message him and he might miss the message for like 2 weeks. He's like, I'm sorry. He's like, I totally missed this one. But yeah, no worries. We'll get the ball on that.
And his English is pretty good?
Yeah, his English is great.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah. Like sometimes, because I've had a few interviews that I purposely didn't do. I could have asked them, but as I was hanging out with the guys, I don't want to mention any names, so I don't think they'd be offended. I'm like, I can't do it. And I was like, it was like he could barely understand my ass. Yeah. You know, so you never know with the foreigners, you know what I mean? Yeah,
there'll be no issues. But man, I'm so glad that you're here, man. Like, I'm a big fan of your channel.
How did you first find out about it? Do you remember?
Oh my gosh.
Did somebody send it to you? Did you stumble across it on your own, or?
I'm thinking maybe I just stumbled across. I know I watch Francisco Jawaba too, and I remember you were on Jawaba as well too. But I'm like, man, I was like, this dude is like my spirit animal because, like, you know, I'm like a poser destroyer, and one like some of my favorite interviews you had was like you know, King Fowley, and
just did another one that went up today with King.
Yeah, I watched it.
Did you already watch it?
I watched it on. I had my map quest on, and I'm watching you in both windows.
How was it? How'd you like that last one?
It was great. I watched part 3.
Yeah,
is what I watched. But yeah, it's like I was like I never met either of you.
But you never met King?
No, I never met King. I was like, but it's like we have a lot of the same mindsets because I'm also, you know, it's and Dawn of the Dead too. So like that's a freaking killer interview, and I love because it's like same thing. It's like me. It's like there's a lot of like I'm very in a box with a lot of my metal and my death metal. It's like it took me probably 25 years for me to even listen through Spiritual Healing from Death. Like to me it was just. After Leprosy, it's like once I heard Spiritual Healing when I was about 15, I was like, they turned fucking posers, you know? It's like,
so you agree, anything, especially after Spiritual Healing, do you consider that death metal music? Whether you like it or not, do you consider it death metal?
I think there's just so many different opinions of death metal. It's not, I tell you this, it's not my death metal, because for me, but you know, people get mad at my freaking. I'm very motherfucking opinionated. But for me, it's like death metal is supposed to be fucking extreme. It's supposed to be heavy.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be fucking dark. And if you want to be all fucking nerdish and technical and make it so fucking proggish, it's like, bro, get the fuck out of here with that bullshit because you're really watering something. But you know what? But there's a lot of people that like that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, I get it. I don't know. It's like it took me a long time to like now. I've been able to listen to some of that stuff and kind of open my. It's like, you know what? I was like, this is pretty good. I like this. I like that. It's not my first love, you know. So
what, in your opinion, then, what is? I've asked this several people in basing interviews. What is the first death metal album that ever come out? Album, not demo, not EP. What do you consider the first death metal full length in your opinion?
It ain't Possessed.
It ain't.
It ain't Possessed.
Okay, all right.
For me, Man, it's like I feel like I'm in a Mandela effect because
Okay.
I clearly remember. It could be a Mandela effect thing, but I clearly remember being freaking 13. I'm born in 74, so being 13 and 87 and seeing magazines that said, like, move over thrash, this is death metal. And it had, like, freaking Celtic Frost in it and freaking Sodom and freaking Creator. And it's like, so years later, it's like, now that's German thrash or this is thrash. It's like, I was like, man, I was like, for years I remember, like, that being, like, that was, like, my introduction. So anything that had, like, a raspy vocals, like, you know, inaudible, like, that was death metal. Because,
So are you saying that when you say it's not Possessed Seven Churches, the way I just took it, but I'm not taking it a different way as you're explaining it, are you saying Seven Churches is not a death metal album then? Or
I think it's I think if you go back and you listen to them, they're not calling themselves death metal in that time. I know now.
Well, they have a song death metal on there.
Yeah, they wrote a song death metal, and I know right now it's like, you know, there's that argument and so forth, but they were, you know, they were more of a thrash album, and they were even not wanting to call themselves thrash in certain interviews. You know, in certain interviews they were like, no, we're just a heavy metal band and so forth. So they weren't even owning that at that time, even though they wrote a song.
What would be the first death metal record then in your book?
For me, when I was a kid, for me, the first, like, for me, death metal was freaking, like, Celtic Frost, you know, Hellhammer. Like, that was death metal to me, you know. And then later on, it's like, you know, you got, you know, Death with Scream Bloody Gore.
Do you consider that a death metal album? Scream Bloody Gore?
I consider that a death metal album, just like how some people might say, hey, you know what, Venom isn't black metal, but at that time, it was, you know, that was just so unique. So yeah, I could say that is a death metal album. Could that be the shift of what turned into death metal today? I don't know. Maybe it's like a Dave Mustaine and Metallica thing where some people picked a side. For me, it was motherfucking Autopsy. Like when Autopsy Severed Survival came out, like that was the game changer, because then it was down to.
Now, do you consider, for Morbid Angel, Abominations of Desolation, do you consider that a death metal record?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's 86.
Yeah, though. Yeah. That's definitely a death metal record. When I personally first heard Blast Beats was from Morbid Angel. You know?
Yeah.
And I know Napalm Death was doing it before that and so forth, but I didn't hear Napalm Death before Morbid Angel. I heard Morbid Angel first.
Yeah.
And yeah, I didn't hear Desolations first. I heard Altars of Madness first.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And but yeah, that was like, holy shit! Like, this is like a different freaking level. And in New Jersey, you know, we had Revenant at that time, and Revenant was very similar in that style at that time before they changed more into like a progressive type of sound later on. But if you ask me, like, what my favorite death metal record was from that time, I would have to say it's like a two-part answer. It would be like Autopsy Severed Survival, and some people want to call it grindcore or whatever like that, but like Carcass Symphonies of Sickness. Mm-hmm. So it's like, you know, if it's like US, it would be Autopsy. Overseas, Europe, fucking Carcass Symphonies of Sickness. Like, when that came out, that was like, holy shit, like, it's fucking down to the two different vocals. You had the Bill Steer with the deep freaking vocals. And
what did you think of Reputrefaction on the first record?
You know, I'm not much of a fan of it, like I am with Symphonies of Sickness. Like with Symphonies of Sickness, like they were in the pocket, you know. Like
the songs are more audible, digestible for sure.
Yeah,
that's why. I mean, for years, Symphonies was my favorite, but as I know him now, Reek is my favorite, just because it's so goddamn extreme and it's disgusting.
For a while, we used to open our Deteriorot show with freaking General Grinder.
Oh, okay, nice.
That was just like our warm up song.
Yeah, that's a pretty good goddamn warm up.
Yeah, we were 15.
Well, so I haven't said that yet, because you're the only original guy.
Yeah.
And you guys you broke up for quite some time, right?
Yeah.
Like, what was the time frame when you last released to your comeback release? What was the time gap?
The last time there was a new album, besides last year, was...
No, I mean, like, when you guys broke up, let's say you last thing you put out was 95 or whatever.
Yeah.
From that to when you came back...
So it was 99 when we got back together, and it was 3 out of the 4 original guys. And we first thing I did actually was I contacted Dave Rotten, and it was Repulse Records at that time, and I hadn't talked to him in probably like 4 or 5 years, and And I was like, yeah. I was like, listen, man. I was like, I really want to freaking put out that In Ancient Beliefs album, because that album was actually supposed to be released in '94, and there's another story to that, you know. So he was like, yeah. He's like, I'll release it, and we recorded the album, and it sat on the shelf for like 2 years. I didn't know that there was like some kind of financial internal struggle going on between two partners.
Okay.
So Dave was a co-partner of Repulse Records with somebody else.
Okay.
And there was something going on in there that I wasn't aware of, and I didn't know why the album wasn't coming out. It's like it kept being put. It's like we submitted everything 2 years ago, and then suddenly it was like out of the blue, hey, this is what's going on. All of our albums, we're selling the licenses over, and World War III out of California is going to release it, and it's going to have like great distribution. And Enrique Chavez was like of Sadistic Intent.
Yeah, I did an interview with him too. I don't know if you saw that or not.
Yeah, I did see that. That was a bomb fire ass interview, by the way.
I'm trying to get the Cortez brothers. I hung out with them at Metal Threat. They yeah, bro, and we just never did it. So I might. It's same weekend. There's the Metal Festival in Detroit in August.
Yep.
It's the same weekend as Malignancy and Dismember in New York.
Yep.
We're going to go to one or the other. If the Cortez brothers say, bro, 100%, this time we'll do it, then I'll probably go to that.
Yep.
Because I'd like to interview them.
Yeah.
Sadistic Intent's one of my all-time favorite bands.
That would be great. So then Enrique Chavez led the whole project of In Ancient Beliefs being released on World War III, and that was like a sub-label of like a major label, and it was like in all like it was in like freaking in the mall with like freaking poser shit too. It's like this is in Virgin Megastore, like that's great. Barnes and fucking Noble, and and
hey, got eyeballs at least.
Yeah, so that was really cool. But the funny part was that I had to order my own album from BarnesandNoble.com because it came out. It's like
you get a free copy or nothing?
I didn't get any free copies, and when I talked to them, they were like, yeah, it's like, you know, we paid money for the license, but like there wasn't any free. But you know what, we'll send you some, you know. So yeah, you know, they sent me like 50 copies or something like that. So they were cool about that and shit like that. But my first copy, like,
you had to buy it,
like a release date, I was like, I don't even know. I was like, I need it, you know. So it was cool though. And I have a few that are still sealed because around that time I was like, I just bought some extra ones.
Sure. So what was the reason you guys broke up then initially?
Man, I could tell you this. It all had to do with In Ancient Beliefs not being released. So in '93 we did the Manifested Apparitions vinyl, and so we signed a 3-album deal with Drown Productions. And you got to keep in mind, Dave was really young at that time. Dave was maybe like Dave, I think, is like 4 years older than me. So I was 19 then, so he must have been like 24.
Yeah.
They had a lot of releases. You know, they had Demigod, they had Rotrivore. They signed so many bands, and they gave out a lot of advances. Was what I if I'm wrong, you know, I'm sorry, but that's what I heard was that it just so much money out versus what was coming in.
Yeah.
And we were waiting on our studio money for some time, for maybe like 6 or 7 months. And then I got like the worst news ever in a letter, and he was just like, man, he's like, I'm really sorry to have to say this, but the Rotrivore album is gonna have to be like our last album, and I'm just so sorry about that. And it's like we have to financially like shut the label down, and we were really pumped for that. We had our heart and soul in that, and like when we talked to like the guys in the band, like it was like dead silence, like nobody really had anything else to say, and it was like, okay, you know. And after that, it was like all of us, I have like we must have all fallen into deep depression. I know I did. I know I got to a point where I remember like after that practice and going over it, I went home and I probably like didn't go out or anything. I just went to work for like 2 years, and like I didn't even like call the guys. Like I didn't call them, they didn't call me. So there was never any like, hey, like we're out of the band. There was never any like fuck this, or it was just like I didn't call them, they didn't call me, and You know, so come to find out, like years later, like what I was going through, they were going through those same internal struggles too.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a shock. It was just like, because I, like me personally, I put like that was like my life, you know, and it was like, wow, it's like there was also like a bit of shame in it too, like you had so many people that were like, hey, like Deteriorot's gonna have a new album, they're gonna have their debut album, such and such, and it just didn't happen. I didn't go to shows. I was embarrassed to like see people and anything like that, and I don't know, maybe it was like around the late 90s I started like just getting myself back in a better like frame of mind, and that's when I like call the guys. It's like, hey, it's like, would you want to like we had this great album. Like we started recording it. We had demo versions of it. It's a fucking killer record, and we have, you know, let's do it.
Yeah.
And you know what? It was, everything is meant to be. You know, everything's meant to be. I'm like, you know, who knows? A lot of people ask me, hey, do you ever think like if you put out that album, like you'd be so much bigger or whatever like that? It's like, you know what? I was like, right now you're talking to a band that hadn't put out an album in 13 years. I was like, and we headlined Europe, and we sold out like.
How was the reaction?
Man, we sold out like 17 out of 21 dates. We're the headliner.
Oh,
We're not here to piggyback off of anybody else's fan base, where it's not like us and Obituary or Deicide, where people say, well, yeah, it was sold out because
Deicide's headliner.
But no, it was us, you know, and it was a way to show people like, hey, you know what, we still got it. We could do zero promotion and still have a fan base. So look what's happening with me just being a promotion marketing guy and just doing this and having a new. So what about the original guys? Are you kind of bummed if they didn't want to like rejoin and be back in it? They're not in it today. Do you still talk to them? Yeah. They're just in different places in their lives.
You think it's cool that you're still doing it, or?
Yeah, they do. They've sent me messages and just cheering me on.
So if you do a new record, do they hear it? Do you send them one, or how does that like they?
Yeah, you know, I sent out a couple of them, and you know, we get some good reactions and so forth.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Yeah.
So for the people that haven't heard you, because there's definitely people that haven't. Myself, I mean, you guys were a band, what I call, I've forgotten more metal than you know. You were kind of in that pile, like, when you sent me the disc, I'm like, oh yeah, I know what Deteriorot is. I was like, I know I've listened to them. It was like 90s death metal. I was like, but I couldn't air guitar or anything. I didn't remember anything.
Right.
And I listened to this, I was like, yeah, I mean, it's good shit. There's parts that reminded me like early Incantation. Mm-hmm. What would you say, like, to the fans that haven't heard it, because there's going to be people that see this, that are new and watch it, what would you describe yourself as for fans of whatever, like this kind of death metal? What would you describe it most comparable to?
So here was my vision back then and even now. It was I never wanted to paint myself into a corner. I never wanted to be like there's bands that like it's this one sound and that's it. So it's like I wanted to be like a smorgasbord of like, you know what? It's like this was my idea when I was 15. I was like, what if I used one guitar, just one freaking guitar that had like that Swedish death metal sound, but not the whole band, just one of them.
Okay.
Just one of them. And that idea came to my head because I had a freaking stereo system in my room, and it was weird. Like, so one speaker went out of like the woofer went out, and it was just a tweeter. So it was just like this mid-rangey tweeter, and the other freaking speaker, the tweeter went out on it, and it was just a bass, you know. And it was weird. I was like, it's so weird how like these two sounds sound like shit by itself, but together makes this music work. I was like, what if that's the tone of the guitars? So that mid-rangey, really high-end, it's like a tweeter, like that Swedish death metal.
Yeah.
So what if we did that, and then the other guitar is like your subwoofer, is more like a bassier tone. What happens when you combine both of those tones together? And that's the Deteriorot sound. Okay. I was like, and that's unique.
I never thought about that.
Yeah. So I was like, this is like, you got to keep in mind, this is like 89, 90, you know? So I loved Bolt Thrower at that time. Yeah. Because I like 80, or we're talking about Realm of Chaos, you know? So I was like, yeah, you know, it's like, I want to write something that's like similar to that. You know, Immolation with Rigor Mortis and shit like that. Like that was like something that was local happening.
So you guys probably played a bunch with Immolation.
Huh? Yeah, we played.
What about like Agoraphobia, shit like that?
Yeah,
Mortician, all that.
Yeah, all you know, we were all part of.
Did you guys play the Day of Death, that Buffalo?
No,
You were on that?
We didn't do Day of Death.
Oh, okay, shit.
Yeah.
Did you go to that show?
I didn't go. There's a little bit of an age gap.
Yeah.
So
that was a 90. How old would you been at 90?
16.
Okay, yeah, you're pretty young, so okay.
So the age gap was I was always the kid.
Yeah.
With like Incantation, two of those guys were my age, like Craig Pillard and stuff like that.
Oh, really? So like John McEntee, he's not older than you? I figured.
John McEntee is I believe he's 4 years older than me, 4 or 5.
You're what, 46 now then?
I am 50 now.
Oh, 50 now. Okay.
Yeah. So, but when you're like 14, 15, 16, like 5 years is a big difference.
Yeah, no, 100%.
It's like
if you're 16, that's 5 years. He's an adult.
Yeah, so it's like, so these guys are like, adults. Like I remember being like on the tour bus, like playing with Obituary and Malevolent Creation and stuff like that. And it's like, and I'm freaking 18, and these guys are like 24, and they seem like they might as well have been 40 to me. Like they seem like some like they was like a different level of adult by then, you know.
Yeah.
So.
How did you get into metal? What was your...
Lindsay asked how how he got into metal. Maybe like what was your introductory bands, things like that.
Shit, we're talking about like probably like Motley Crue, Shout at the Devil, like on MTV, like seeing like a Pentagram, BC Rich guitars.
So you automatically, like, for example, the pentagram, the satanic imagery, did you like, whoa? Like,
yeah, like that was like I thought that was cool, you know. And being a kid, I like Kiss too.
Well, but how old were you when you heard Venom for the first time? When Ash got a Venom tattoo, so you got to be a Venom super fan.
13.
Now, when you first heard it, was that like scary?
No, it was like it felt like home.
Yeah,
it felt like the other shit was like corny now.
Yeah,
But actually, I was gonna go back to the Deteriorot sound when you were like, hey, like for fans of so I was like, man, you know, I liked a lot of Autopsy, like it just had something that I know influenced like the Finnish bands.
Cool, of course, 100%.
So like when you got like like the Wild Rags sampler and stuff like that, or like listening to like Abhorrence, Disgrace, Preamorphous. Listening to that first Amorphous freaking EP or the vinyl, it was like a 2-song vinyl on Relapse at that time. But like when I heard that, it's like, damn, it's like, so what if we mix a little bit of that? We got a little bit of the Swedish guitar pedal, throw in a little bolt thrower, throw in a little freaking Autopsy, a little freaking Death Leprosy. So it's like, it's just like not one sound. So so if you listen to a Deteriorot album, you're gonna hear like maybe a fast song is the first song. Second song will be a mid-pace. Then it's going to be a freaking doom song, doom vibe, you know? And then it's going to go right back to a mid-pace song, then back to a speed song. Like if somebody listens to just one song, like we're not a doom death metal band.
On the disc that because I listened to it a couple times before, you could kind of get fresher. They sent me, and I did notice that there was parts of it that I was just, okay, this sounds like Incan. The other part I was like, maybe something from like New York, New Jersey, like. Yeah, definitely. I was like, I definitely did notice it. Yeah, 100%.
Then you hear another song. It's like this kind of like Carcass. It's like and like Incantation, Carcass sound nothing alike.
Right,
you know?
right.
And then it's like they might throw a little freaking Dismember.
Yeah.
Freaking. So it's like I think it's something that can please like fans of like different genres of death metal, and we can't be painted into a corner. Like if somebody heard one song, like the 1 or 2 Doom songs from the album, like, oh well, this is a Doom death metal band.
Yeah.
No, it's like there's the next song that's fucking blaster.
Yeah.
The next song is kind of like influence of like traditional heavy metal. Sounds like it could be like a Dio, Holy Diver type of riff. Because guess what? There was no death metal when I was like learning guitar.
Sure.
It was like Black Sabbath and freaking Judas Priest, like one of my all-time favorite bands. So that's what influenced me. Like the first freaking Metallica record, Kill 'Em All. That's why I started learning how to play freaking guitar. That's why the M is my first one, you know?
How old were you got that?
Oh my gosh, this was like not too long ago. Like initially it was like my daughter's name is Madison. So it was like, I was like, I'm gonna get an M. My daughter's name is Madison, and Metallica is really like what influenced me to want to be a musician.
What's the last Metallica record you liked then? Or maybe you like them all, like Athnar. Goddamn, the last Metallica, Even Load.
The last one that I loved was Master of Puppets, because when I brought home Injustice, this is what I'm telling you. Like Spirit Animal with You and Dawn of the Dead and
do you like Nunslaughter?
Yeah, I love Nunslaughter.
Okay.
So when I bought freaking Injustice for All on release date, I couldn't wait to get that motherfucking record and get it home on my fucking vinyl player. And I was like, this fucking shit fucking sucks. I was like, what the fuck is
What
this?
didn't you like about Justice? Like that day?
Oh my god, it was way too.
Go to video,
It was
homeboy.
way too proggy. It was way too. I'm about to knock a motherfucker out. Somebody walks right in front of the camera.
I know, every time you gotta
boom,
have some,
boom, boom.
Gotta have some douchebag.
Yeah.
But the poser crusher over here, right?
That fucking hurts me.
Gotta look like he belongs at that
Yeah.
metal show, right?
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, it was just it didn't
What do
have.
you ask? Where the potty is? Doesn't he look like he knows how to use his wiener? Lost his car keys. Lost his fucking brain coming in at my goddamn interview. Paul was ready to knock him. Paul almost jumped over the couch. He said he's gonna knock the guy out.
Sometimes I want to kick motherfuckers' asses while I'm watching the YouTube, and I see somebody walk right. It's like, motherfucker, there's a fucking camera.
Yeah.
There's an interview going on. Are you gonna walk right in front of the fucking camera?
Dude, every time.
Yeah,
you see
every,
that, you
every
know?
fucking time.
Yeah.
You know, so
I don't get paid enough.
yeah. But yeah, man, it was just the aggression was gone out of it. Like the only song that was like that Dyer's Eve. Like that Dyer's Eve sounded like it should have been on.
So Blacken's a total turd?
Silent.
It's
The silent.
I tell you this, the vocals are his best like ever. Like just the vocal track. His vocal track was like the heaviest. But
I like the record, but I mean, I'm by no means. I'm not like this is the greatest thing ever, but I like it.
can you compare Battery, Black and Battery wins? You know?
Yeah, I agree with that. 100%. I definitely
Battery
agree with
wins. I just think it has more of a feeling.
Well, it's
you
got
know?
more. It's heavier. It's got more punch. It's got more. Yeah, no, it's definitely a better song for sure.
So
Well, so what do you think about the Black album then?
that's rock. That's not a metal album, man.
Yeah.
It should be called Rockalica.
So
It's like that's for fucking posers, bro. Posers were fucking love it. I remember when the Black Album came out, and now everybody was a fucking Metallica fan at the fucking mall and shit. Like everybody had their fucking Metallica shirts, and I knew kids that like they listened to just lame shit like fucking I used to work with a dude, and he was all into Broadway tunes. Like he liked Bette Midler. Motherfucker liked Bette Midler. And he had the Metallica Black album, and he was telling me how much he loved that album, and then he went out and bought like Master of Puppets, and he was like, this sucks, this is not like, he thought the rest of the discography was gonna be like the Black album.
Yeah.
So no, man, I hate the Black. I can't, it's unlistenable. I hate the vocals.
So anything after that has to be completely unlistenable in your book.
Load has like has a thing where you have to think of it as not being a metal album. It's got to be like a rock album. They're trying to be like Alice in Chains or something like that. Then you got freaking country shit in that and stuff like that. I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
No, those albums are turds, man.
That was my review as well.
Yeah.
So you said you're a poser crusher as well. So then I talk about what is unacceptable, what annoys the fuck out of you when you go to a metal show. What annoys you that you see, if there's anything? What's unacceptable? What's acceptable and not acceptable to wear on a goddamn stage?
Oh my god, there's a lot. I'm having like sensory overload because there's just so much shit that I fucking hate. Like,
put it this way, just acceptable or not acceptable. I'll pitch a few things your way.
Okay.
If it's a death metal band, they go up there and the guys are in shorts, sports jerseys, and ball caps. Acceptable or not acceptable?
That's not metal, bro. You know what else irks me? Fucking costumes, bro. Cosplay, bro. It should be about the motherfucking music, bro.
So you probably think black metal's deplorable then. Like how they it's makeup and shit like
fucking
that.
Halloween and shit. You know, it's like Hot Topic bullshit. Marilyn Manson.
So like for example, like even early black metal, you think it's kind of silly, like when they're whether it be anything from Norway or the U.S. scene or Bathory.
Oh man, I love Bath. See, because I love anything that is, if you're artistically like an innovator and you're going against the grain, you're doing something completely freaking different. So like who sounded like Bathory? You know, I get that. You know, he even says that he never heard Venom, but had to be a fan of Venom. You know, but took it, made it his own. To me, like that's like real black metal. It's just, to me, it transcended just metal, because I loved all the freaking. I would blast freaking Raise the Dead so much. The Return. We used to even play as a cover. What song was that? It was from The Return. I can't even fucking think of it. But yeah, we would play freaking Call from the Grave. We would play freaking Call. Oh, and we're not a black metal band. We would play it as a fucking cover.
So like that and Venom, did you like anything from the 90s black metal? Other than Mayhem, Emperor, Marduk?
Yeah.
Did you like any of that stuff?
I like the early Samael, before keyboards.
Okay. Keyboards are unacceptable or acceptable in death metal?
It has a place. It has a place for atmosphere, like
so it's
like Amorphous.
Okay.
Like Amorphous. Like when you listen to
Tales from a Thousand Lakes.
No, before that, like if you listen to Privilege of Evil, I forget the name. I've been on mental health meds for 30 years, so I have like early dementia.
The full likes the Carillion
pre-Carillion
Privilege of Evil's EP.
Yeah, there's some keyboard parts that does it for like a freaking spooky, fucking haunting, fucking atmosphere.
What about Nocturnus then? Because Nocturnus was a band that, on the very early forefront, they really had some goddamn keys.
Yeah, I just never really connected with it. If you like it or other people like it, but it just wasn't for me. I respect what they do. They got their own family.
Dawn of the Dead thinks that Nocturnus is the gayest shit ever.
Yeah.
Keyboards and death metal?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. Were they doing something unique to themselves? I think so. Maybe I could respect them for that. I don't know I can't even tell you I know one Nocturnus song.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I probably heard a few seconds of it, and I told you, as a kid, like even at 50, there's still a lot of that 15-year-old in me that's like, nah, next.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah,
I heard enough.
Yeah. All right, well, we're at a hell of a lot of time here. You going up? Is there anything you want to add, throw in there, advertise?
Yeah.
Shout outs, anything?
Yeah, even before advertising, I was telling you, so our drummer's a great friend of mine, and so when I'm talking about certain bands, it's like, just so you know, it's like I'm not the only person that like has like this type of mentality about about like what is real death metal and so forth, and what is not real death metal, because I was like, for me, certain stuff is like, this is not the death metal that I'm trying to do for Deteriorot. I get that a lot of bands are doing this or that. Let them fucking do it. I want to do something that's unique to ourselves. I was like, I want you to watch this guy. I was like, it's not just me. I was like, we have a whole demographic of a fan base that are just like me too. I was like, so I want you to watch this guy. And I put your channel on. I was like, this guy is so just like me.
What did he say?
And he got fucking hooked. He told me, he was like, man, I listen to him all day, like, because he's a welder, and he likes podcasts and YouTubes and stuff like that. And he was like, yeah, man, it's great.
Is he a younger guy?
No, he's in my age range. He's maybe 3 years younger than me.
Oh shit! Okay, wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
So you'll meet him. I want to introduce him to you.
Of course.
He's a fan and loves your show too.
Oh, man. That's always funny. Yeah. I'm amazed anybody watches it, dude.
Yeah.
But they do.
Yeah. So last year we got a new album called The Rebirth. The Rebirth, like the really, like the name is even meaning like, hey, like I'm putting this band back together. And it's a rebirth of what it, I have a new lineup. It's like having a movie or something like that, a new cast, So it's like I've always been the songwriter, just like, Quentin Tarantino's a movie director and a movie writer, and these are his stories. So these are my stories,
Yeah.
And I have a cast of characters that are playing guitar, playing the drums, playing the bass, and we're going to present you Deteriorot, Rebirth, new tour last year. People said, you're fucking nuts. You're going to do a tour headlining. You haven't had an album, A, in 13 years. B, you're having it in festival season and at venues. Like, who the fuck is going to go? and I just wanted to do it to prove a point. And I would video every single time. Fucking 250, 450. It kept
the tour's been good.
650, the last one 1,200,
Really?
Yeah. So it's like here we are. We're playing at venues that Sepultura played at 2 weeks ago. They're like, they didn't sell out. You guys sold out. And who are we? We're
so I was saying, you have this venue. What do you think of? What do you
underground.
What do you think of this venue?
This is a cool venue, man. This is
Because I'm planning on my next show that I'm putting on.
Yeah.
June 21st, 2025 is going to be here. You think it's worth having a show here?
I think so. Yeah.
It's a pretty cool club, isn't
Yeah,
it? It's
it
got
is.
the restaurant and everything.
It is. You have this upstairs with a bowling alley and stuff like that. You got downstairs. Downstairs is like a true underground vibe too. So yeah, I back it up.
Oh yeah.
I back it up 100%. But yeah, we have the 30th anniversary edition that's on sale right now of Manifested Apparitions of Unholy Spirits. So that just came out, and we still have the Rebirth album. We're going through. I've already done 7 presses of 1,000 each. So we're at 7,000 copies sold since June 25th. Faithless Records, which is myself, licensed to Extreme Music in Europe. So
Nice.
you know, the difference now is like I'm gonna do things my way. I'm the license owner. I'm gonna publish it myself. That way it's not like 1,000 copies are done and it's like, okay, well, we'll go ahead and repress it 10 years from now when there's more demand. So now it's under my own flagship, and I gave Dave the licensing for Europe. So he has his fan base in Europe that distributes out there and so forth. So that's great. You know, I can do here in the U.S. and I have my connections with different distributors and retail shops, even old school way, even going to retail shops like a tour, going to different places. Hey, I got the new Deteriorot album. This is the wholesale. I haven't had one place say no, we don't want it.
Yeah.
Every place is like, okay, give me 6 vinyls.
Yeah.
Let me get 5 CDs of this. Let me get 5 CDs of that.
Yeah.
In and out. And yeah, that's old school. That's the original way, man.
Yeah.
And I'm always going to keep it underground. I'm about the true underground. I'm like anti freaking big freaking Walmart freaking labels.
Yeah.
These poser fucking labels, hipster fucking labels. You know, fuck that bullshit.
Not going out tour with Two Mold anytime soon.
Yeah, fuck that. I don't care. You know, I don't. That's why I'm like, you know what? I'll carry it myself. We rather headline to 50 people than to be on some freaking poser fucking tour. Fuck it. I don't care. I'm doing what I want now. I'm having fun with it. I got my wife on tour with us.
Oh, is your wife here?
Yeah, I got my wife on tour with us. I got my boys. We're drinking beer every day. We're eating pizza every day. We're in a nice hotel. We're meeting fans. Like, this is the fucking dream, man.
Yeah.
And nobody can say that I'm doing it on anybody's piggybacking off of Deicide or whatever. Like that.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah. Well, Paul, you're probably going on next, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I appreciate your time. We'll let you get out
Fuck
that
yeah.
stage. I'm looking forward to watching you guys.
Fuck yeah.
And all you guys, you gotta check out the Deteriorot.
Nice.
Later.